Last year I made a video about the Final Destination franchise, and I think I may have misinterpreted what the creators of the new Final Destination Bloodlines, were saying about the movie. I wasn't actually going to make this Final Destination 6 video today, but I have a wall with post-its behind me for video ideas, and the one that says I was wrong about Final Destination kept falling down as if it was the start of a chain of events like in the Final Destination movies, and I was like, this is creepy. The wall of post-its also attracts attention from the cats, so... I just inhaled one of her hairs. First the post-it falls down, then I inhale a cat hair. While I originally planned on waiting until the actual movie released, I wanted to make this video now based on the trailers, not just because of the falling post-it of death, but also because I think that trailers are a good indication of what our expectations are going to be, or what the filmmaker at least wants our expectations to be. I'm sometimes more interested in trailers than in movies, and I know that's a wild thing to say, but I am interested in the tiny art form that they are, in how they are both a marketing tool, but also a mini storytelling device. A trailer has to open the story up and get you excited and then have you fill in the rest. In my original video last year, I talked a lot about reboots versus sequels and how a lot of the discourse around Final Destination Bloodlines was focused on it being a full reboot after 4 shitty sequels and it having a completely different take on the series. And I kind of wondered in that video, what even is the through line for Final Destination, because a lot of the movies are different. They change the rules, they change all of the characters, and I thought, well, what are we going to do to reboot this completely? Final Destination movies usually open with a devastating and deadly event, and then it's revealed it was a premonition, and the character that had that premonition saves a bunch of people, and those people then die in the order they were supposed to die in the original event. Or in reverse order, or they can skip the line by killing somebody else. Those are the established rules in the franchise. Final Destination Bloodlines is about a family on death's list, and they are only on death's list because they shouldn't have been alive in the first place. They're only alive because their grandmother evaded death as a young woman. The grandmother now, and this distracted me during the trailer, so I'm gonna have to mention it, Prince Charming's mother from Once Upon a Time lives in a fortified shack in the middle of the woods, presumably because she's still afraid of death, and she has this bank of research that she gives to her granddaughter based on the glimpses we get of grandmother's notebook and her conspiracy wall that the granddaughter puts up. I can confidently say, and please come back to this video and tell me that I'm wrong if I'm wrong, that everything in the Final Destination franchise will tie together in this movie, going back to the origin point, or at least the grandmother was the first one to evade the rules, and after that, the rails were completely off. And in my original video, I leaned heavily on the reboot versus sequel debate because I thought this movie was going to be a clean reboot, and I just wondered, how is that even possible? Because the most iconic thing about Final Destination is the only thing that you can basically copy over, which is the way people die. What makes Final Destination insanely good, actually, is that there's no masked killer. We never see the killer, and yet when you watch the new trailer for Final Destination Bloodlines, you can tell within 10 seconds that it's Final Destination. That's actually really impressive because you never have to see a killer or a mask or hear a certain voice. You just know from the vibes. And I think that is something that already ties the movies together as a franchise, reboot or sequel. Also, as an aside, the scene in the piercing/tattoo parlor that's in the trailers, I don't think I'll be watching most of that. I think I'll be viewing it through my fingers, like how I still haven't seen the hobbling scene in Misery. I just close my eyes every single time. It's not even a voluntary move. And that's what I'm going to do for this one as well. So, also the lawnmower, just in conclusion, I think I was wrong about what I thought the new Final Destination was going to be, but I was also wrong about what I thought Final Destination, the franchise, was. I thought, yeah, the beginning was cool, but it was about deaths, and hey, there's a funny twist, what a bonus. But I think the new trailers have already done what I think the movie will do, which is to reframe how I feel about the whole franchise going back. I'm really excited to see how the grandmother's original premonition and her escaping death will play into Crash 180, the highway pileup, maybe even the roller coaster. I doubt they'll bring that in, but maybe. And I do think they've made a good call with not having a character have a premonition and stop an event, and those group of people are now the main cast, because we've seen that 5 times already. I really wanted to make this video also as a record for myself to see what my expectations were before going in. And then after the movie comes out, I want to see if my expectations were fulfilled and how I feel about the franchise after I've actually seen the movie. And I think it's really interesting how a new entry in the series, or even just the trailers for the new entry in the series, can really reframe everything. And I think that's even the point of making a sequel.
The rules have changed.
I think if you're making a movie that doesn't really add anything to the world or retraces steps that were made before, that people don't really like that, because I could watch the original. I was wrong about Final Destination, and I look forward to seeing how wrong I am about this one as well after I've seen the full movie. Thanks for watching.